What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? I'd like to welcome you to another Teachable Tuesdays, Long Car Chronicles, Long Car Ride Chronicles. Ooh, Jesus. I almost screwed up the title there. Episode 8. That's horrible. I had to think about it. I got to start keeping track of these things, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. First and foremost, if you could, please hit the like button, subscribe button, notification button, so that way you stay up to date with all of my Teachable Tuesday videos. And last time we had a Long Car Ride Chronicles, we were talking about the ladies. We're talking about how there are good ladies out here. There are ladies that absolutely care, and why women in general care. Well, today, ladies, I got something for you. As soon as I make this turn properly. All right, I can't see crap this morning. Yes, I'm being safe while driving. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna be talking about the fellas. Ladies, I hear so much on social media and even in person. Man, ain't crap. All of these you-know-what boys, this and that and so on and so forth. And I'm going to tell you, just like I told the fellas, there's a strong possibility that you're just messing around with the wrong guys. All right? And the reason why I say this, and, you know, ladies, just like I said in the last video, I've been where you've been. I've been hurt, and so on and so forth. And I get it. But you can't let a few bad experiences spoil the whole bunch for the possibility that's out there. So I'm going to give you some strong and valid reasons why men care. And because I am a man myself, I think I can really dive deep into this. So, you know, as MTR would say, not trying to steal his phrase, but let's get active and all that good stuff. Shout out to him, by the way. So one of the reasons why men care is you got to understand, good men are always going to have your best interests at heart. I'm not talking about men that are trying to be manipulative, because yes, there are some men out there, just like there are some women out there that really try to have things my way or the highway. You know what I'm saying? But when you have a good man, well, you know a good man. I mean, that man don't even necessarily be from a relationship standpoint, but just in a general sense. You know, he's always going to have your best interests at heart. You're not always going to agree with that man just for the simple fact that he is a man, right? He sees things a bit differently than you see it. You know, women are emotional individuals. You guys rely on your emotions. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. You know, a lot of times you'll hear someone out here that be like, you know, the problem with women is they're too emotional and this and that and so on and so forth. And I admit guilty. At one point in time, I was very much like that. But it's not really an issue. The way that God designed you, God didn't design you guys to think logically, and that's not an offense. So please don't take that as such. God designed you to think, you know, more so with your emotions first. And there are a lot of advantages of being an emotional thinker. Yes, there are some cons, but there are definitely some pros, just like there are some pros and cons of being a logical thinker, right? Obviously, one of the pros of being an emotional thinker is you get to sense out what is going on before a logical thinker can, right? And a lot of times in situations, especially when someone is in dire need, that helps out tremendously. Also, let's not forget about the nurturing part. Everybody needs to be nurtured in some form or fashion. And who does it better? My ladies. Even if you are like, you know, because, you know, unfortunately, we do have some ladies who are more on the masculine side for various reasons, which we'll get into that in another video. But by definition and by nature, you are more nurturing than fellas are. We weren't designed to be nurturing. Can we be nurturing? Yes. But was it necessarily by natural design? No. That's something that if a guy's a bit more nurturing than other guys are, something that he develops, which that's not a bad thing either, which I'll talk about that in another video. I got so much to talk about, y'all. But anyway, let me stay on topic, right? Men just see things differently than ladies do oftentimes. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because just like I said in the last video, a lot of times you can have a different perspective, right? And I think that's what everybody needs. Every man and every woman needs to see a different perspective, see a different side of things. You might not necessarily agree with that perspective. You might not be swayed to go on that side initially, but it does help out tremendously in terms of opening your understanding of the world. So, men who care about you are always going to have your best interests at heart. Sometimes you'll hear some ladies that'll be like, well, don't tell me what to do and this and that, or I do what I want and this and that. And granted, you have your reasons for feeling that way, but what I want you to understand is the reason why that man might be telling you that is because he knows something that you might not necessarily be aware of, because he's seen some things. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a man, right? And or not even a man. It could be a man, or you have a brother, or you have a father, right? And you wearing something out. You about to go to the club, and they might sit here and tell you, "Hey, I don't think it's a good idea for you to wear that," right? And you might be like, "Why wear what I want to wear? Why is this not a good idea?" Because I'm telling you, the attention that you're going to get is not really the attention that you want. Granted, we know, ladies, that you love validation, and I don't think there's anything wrong with validation, but the wrong type of validation can be an issue. So, he clearly, especially if he's your man, clearly sees something and knows something that you don't, or you might not be thinking about it at the time being. And not only that, but if that man is your man, he gonna be looking like, hey, whoa, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Why? Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, when you are dating somebody, if we're talking about that standpoint, they're a representation of you and you are a representation of them. So how you choose to go out in public matters a lot, more than what you probably realize. Okay? Another reason why men care is because men understand that when we get with a woman, now I'm talking about the relationship aspect, and even outside the relationship aspect, I'll address that in a second, but we know our duty is to protect and provide, right? Let's talk about the protect aspect, right? As a man, we naturally are going to protect our ladies no matter what. Ladies that we are in a relationship with, right? Why? Because we want her to feel safe. We understand that safety is one of the number one things that you crave in a romantic relationship and just in general. A woman wants to feel safe. A woman is the definition of vulnerability at its finest. And vulnerability is not a bad thing in spite of what people believe, depending on the circumstances. But because we know this, we understand that, hey, our duty as a man is to make sure that you good no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And even outside of the relationship aspect, when it comes to family members, when it comes to friends, we want to do all that we can to protect our family and our friends. I use the analogy, and it's funny because I was talking to my mom about this, shout out to Mom Dukes, a couple days ago. But let's say, God forbid, you at home and you laying down with your husband and, somebody tries to, or somebody does, I should say, break into your home. Who gonna be the one to, protect that woman? The husband. He gonna be the one to wake up and go downstairs and see what's going on and make sure that intruder does not make it out alive, or if he does, he's gonna pay a heavy consequence for it. You know what I'm saying? And I related that to, let's say it was a situation where I was home with my mother or my stepmother, and my dad or my stepdad wasn't around. Guess who'd be the one to make sure that I'm defending because I'm an adult? This guy, me, as a man, making sure I protect my loved ones, because I gotta make sure they good. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, if I was a child, that's a different story. If I was a child and the father wasn't home, obviously the mama gonna step in, right? But because I'm an adult and I'm a man and I understand the protect a little bit more, the natural protect order that's been placed in my life, I'm going to make sure that my mom, my stepmom, my grandmother, my aunt, if there's no other guy in the home, I'll make sure they good. And truth be told, even if there is a guy in the home, me being a grown man now, and if I hear it first, and my uncle, my dad, my stepdad ain't got to the situation, I'm probably going to see what's good. You know what I'm saying? Just because I have that protect mentality, and me just naturally as a man, I have the protect mentality over all my family members, men and women, doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But The whole point is a man understands he needs to protect you. A man also understands he needs to provide for you. Now, provision doesn't necessarily mean financial provision all the time, although that does play a big part. But provision is making sure that you are not only protected, but make sure that you are taken care of. So that way, you don't have a need for certain things. Or, need. Because, at the end of the day, you always going to have your wants. Everybody has their wants. That's not something that's going to go away. But your needs, your most important factors, are going to be addressed. They are going to be accounted for, right? And believe it or not, a man is going to bend over backwards in backwards times 3 to make sure that you are good, right? Even if that man is your friend, he's still going to go out his way to make sure that you are good to go. Think about it. Why do you think you have your male friends? When I say male friends, I ain't talking about males that you put in the friend zone. Because fellas, we don't do the friend zone. Ladies, you shouldn't do the friend zone either. Let me just make that abundantly clear. But anyways, your male friends who actually want a friendship with you, where there was never really an attraction between the two of you guys. Why do you think he's gonna go out your way to still do things even if he's not in a relationship with you? Because we understand in our mind that we want to make sure that you are good. It's just natural in our nature. When it comes to I have quite a few women who are friends of mine. Genuine friends of mine. I have no attraction to them whatsoever. They have no attraction to me. And we've built a solid friendship. Yes, men and women can be friends despite what you believe, but that's only if the two are not attracted to one another. I'll talk about that in another video at some time. But anyways, we just understand the mindset of we just want to make sure you good. You know what I'm saying? That's why if you call us and be like, yo, I got a flat. Is there any way you can help me, right? Now, obviously, if you got a man, you need to call your man. Just saying. But, if you don't have a man and you know that your friend is reliable and helping you, you don't know how to do it, you're going to call him up. And, 9 times out of 10, if we're not busy, we don't got nothing going on, we're going to make sure you well taken care of, right? It's the understanding of, when it comes to women that are friends, and family members, and significant others, that we just want to make sure, like I said before, you ultimately good. All right? Another reason why men care is because men will ultimately give their last to make sure that you are well off, right? And what I mean by that is you don't know what situations a man might be in. And now this is more so from a relationship aspect, right? You don't know what situations that man might be in, but he's doing all that he can to make sure that you are okay because he doesn't want you to worry, right? And a lot of times, ladies, you might ask him, why doesn't he open up more when we're in a financial burden and this and that? And, I'm over here stressing out. How are we going to pay the bills? And he's saying, I got this. The reason why he's saying, I got this, because you got to understand in his mind, he's already thinking 10 steps ahead in terms of, all right, I know we are messed up right now. How are we going to go about fixing this? You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't want you to stress out. There's a reason. I'm going to give you a secret. We have to keep our cool because we know that oftentimes you might not. Not saying you won't ever. I'm not about to go ahead and say that all women don't keep their cool. No, that's cap. But there's a chance you might not, because remember, going back to the emotional aspect, right? So, the saying goes, cool heads prevail, which is very true, right? I've had many times where I was dating women or, getting to know women, and they would just be like, how can you keep your cool in this situation? Or, when I'm stressing out and I'm freaking out, you just sitting there calm, cool, and collected. My first answer is, hey, somebody got to have a cool head. You know what I'm saying? We both can't be freaking out. But number 2, it's because we understand that at the end of the day, And a lot of people in general, not even just men, but people in general, have to get this concept. You can only control what you can control. And not only that, but as a man, we're planning things out, right? Like, I'll give you an example. I'll use myself as an example. I'm going to get very personal, right? There have been times in the past where I've fallen short on bills, where I have been struggling financially. And, when I was a little younger, in my early 20s, I would freak out. Why? Because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do, and blah, blah, this, and blah, blah, that. And I struggled financially for years. When it got to a point, when I was, close to my mid-20s, I was a little better off, but I was still having moments. You know what I'm saying? And in those moments, I learned to make do with what I had. I said, okay, I'm going to use this. I'm going to do this. What can I cut back on? What can I do this? And it helps for the fact that I'm a planner, and I think planners have an advantage with this. And, when things didn't work out in my favor, oftentimes I just said, okay, what can I do better next time? All right, what can I do in this situation even though I am extremely uncomfortable? And you adjust and you adapt. And both men and women have their own ways of adapting to a situation. For a man, he understands that adaptation needs to happen immediately, right? Even when things are going good, you could have a moment where something crazy and unexpected happens, and he will know that, all right, got to shift gears. Won't even think about it. Won't even process his emotions. He'll just do it. And that's not to say that he's not emotionally intelligent. He just understands that, listen, I got to do this now. I can think emotionally later, right? Right now, I got a job to fulfill. Right now, I got things to do. He's thinking about the right now and constantly moving forward. A man is always thinking about constantly moving forward. Had a conversation with my dad a couple weeks ago, right? Give you another example. It was a situation at work that bothered me. It wasn't really at work. It was more so a conversation I had with somebody at work. And it wasn't their fault, by the way. It was just something that came up that was on the news. Unfortunately, it was police brutality, if you will. And I felt some type of way about it. I felt some type of way. And this is no knock on police. Let me just put that out there. But this, let's just say this officer did something that was completely unacceptable. And here's the hope that he gets the book thrown at him. I said what I said. But basically, I had to excuse myself because I felt some type of way. And I talked to my dad about it. And, my dad was like, next time, it's okay, that you had your emotions behind it. But next time, maybe try to process your emotions a little bit later on. And that's typically what men do. And sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, right? But understand, when it comes to making sure you're good, we really going to take our emotions, for the most part, out the picture and really try our best to navigate in a different manner, because at the moment, your emotions are not going to change anything when it comes to certain things getting done. And that's not to say that emotions don't matter. That's to say that we know that emotions have its time and its place. And again, as men, we're just not wired like that. We're wired differently. I can definitely say as a man that I express my emotions a little bit more than probably the average man. But even myself, as someone who does that, I still even know it's a time and a place for certain things. And sometimes I can't allow my emotions to be in the forefront because I'm too busy making sure that I'm moving forward and also making sure that you're good. There will be a time and a place where I do allow my emotions to be on the forefront. But when it comes to protecting you, now's not that time. When it comes to making sure you're good and well taken care of from an emotional standpoint, yes, I can let that out a bit more. When it comes to hearing you out, as far as how you're feeling emotionally, especially when we're having challenges in the relationship, yes, I can let that out a bit more. But when it comes to our livelihood, if you're freaking out, oh, sorry, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I can't. And again, that does not mean that that man does not love you. It does not mean that that man is not willing to take care of you. That simply means that he's just thinking in a different manner. All right? I'm going to give you one more, and then, because I have so many more to say, just like I had so many more to say about, to the fellas about why women care, but this would be too long of a video. But my last point is the final reason for today why men care is because in spite of what he's been through with the world, he understands that the love that he has for you is truly an unconditional love. Ladies, I want to put something in your head for a second. I've never been a husband. I hope to be one day. I have been in quite a few relationships. But I also know men who have been married for decades. So I receive a lot of mentorship from these men in terms of how to prepare myself to be a husband in the future, to be a father in the future, to be, not just a husband and a father, but a husband and a father that God would be pleased with, right? You have no clue, oftentimes, and this is not to say that you're ignorant. Let me go ahead and make that clear, okay? I don't want anybody to be offended by it, but I just want to put this out here. You oftentimes have no clue what that man is dealing with when it comes to facing the world. And the reason why I bring this up is because that's not to say that you don't have your challenges going on, because you most certainly do. Everybody does. That man has a weight on his shoulder, right? And let me tell you the number one thing, the two things that he's thinking about throughout the day. Well, I'm going to say three. Number one, making sure this task is done, no matter what, no ifs, ands, or buts. Number two, making sure that I come home to my family. And number three, making sure my family is good. And that includes you. I don't care if you're in a situation where the husband pays all the bills, he goes 50-50, whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, those three things are the biggest things that matter. The task at hand, making sure my purpose is being fulfilled within that task, making sure I get home to my family safely, and making sure my family is good. Regardless if it's just you or you and kids, or maybe it's you and your mama or his mama or whatever. Those are three important factors as a man that we are thinking about while we are on our job. Obviously, if you're a single man, it's a bit different. But if you are in a relationship, or especially a marriage, you are thinking about those things, or we are thinking about those things. Okay? And the unconditional love that we have for y'all supersedes anything you could imagine. Because here's the truth. We're going to love you no matter what. I'm going to say a very unpopular opinion here. Some of y'all might disagree with this. But y'all love on terms of condition. Just put it out there, telling the truth. We love unconditionally because we understand no matter what, we want to make sure that you're what? You're good. And I'm going to bring one more bonus point. I know this video has been super, super long, but I really hope this helps somebody. Ladies, when we marry you, when we decide to marry you, I want you to understand how impactful that is. How much we really love you. And the reason why I say that is because for this reason. Ladies, you have been wired, especially here in the West. You have been wired for marriage and children ever since you were a wee bit small. Yeah, I said wee bit small, right? As men, we're not wired like that, right? We're wired to chase our purpose, to work. You know what I'm saying? You're wired to find love, and You know, that's one of the reasons why from an early age, women always have this mind, girls, you know, I want to fall in love. I want to be with the prince. I want to, you know, be with this Prince Charming and so on and so forth. We're not like that. You know what I'm saying? So when a man ultimately decides, this is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with, I want to build a future with, I want to have kids with, I want to love, honor, and, you know what I'm saying, really be there for her and with her despite any circumstances we may face, that man loves you. That man absolutely loves you. This is why I tell my ladies all the time, if a man tells you he's not ready for a long-term commitment and you are, I don't care how attracted you are to that man, you need to leave him. You need to find somebody that feels the same way that you do. Because understand, when that man is ready for that type of commitment, he loves you. And granted, some men out here don't want to get married. And let's just say you guys come to the conclusion where y'all both don't want to get married. Cool. If that man is willing to love you long term, he loves you. Right? Just, you know, of course, make sure you guys are on the same accord. Because there's nothing like a dysfunction when two people are not on the same accord. All right? But anyways, this video has gone on way too long. I think this is the longest car ride chronicle we've done yet. And probably one of my longer videos. So if you stayed until the end, thank you. I appreciate it. Fellas, if there's anything that I missed, please list it down below. I know there's probably points that I didn't mention. Ladies, comment below. Let me know if you agree or disagree, respectfully, of course. Tell me what you thought about this. If you felt like this video helped, or maybe it opened your eyes to see, I didn't think about this before. Share it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Feedback is always good. And as always, I love you guys. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Take care of yourselves. Again, Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesday. See, to motivate you, encourage you, inspire you to be a better you. See you next time. Peace.